Hello and welcome to my January wrap up. Another year, guys. And I'm already feeling so much better about this year. I think the majority, when I was looking at people's end of year tarot tags that they did to the video I made, a lot of people were, using the heavy cards to summarize the year as a whole last year. So hopefully this one is just so easy peasy lemon squeezy and full of like happy, light, joyous, enjoyable moments for all of us. Not a, super intense one. So as always, I'll start with life updates, go through all the things I watched, did, purchased, and then end with the crochet and tarot. I am still keeping this one as one video, but in life updates, you'll notice that I had said that I was going to discontinue the Melbourne Diaries series because it was taking a lot of time. I was so uncomfortable filming that much in public. I just don't have like the cojones to do it without feeling hella awkward. And then watching myself talking for so long, it felt kind of cringy to me. I know that everyone else was saying really lovely things, like they really enjoyed that segment. And then my kids said that that's the only video of mine that they actually bother watching. So I don't know, I might think about doing it in some way, figuring out a way to film and what to film that is doable for me. We'll see. But I know I was saying that I was thinking about splitting my monthly wrap up into 2 segments so I could show more, but I don't know, I'm workshopping it. We'll figure it out. And other life updates. So you've seen a majority of what I've done in the Melbourne Diary. So I'm not going to be talking about every single thing I did because it's all in there. Some other things that aren't in there, I've been getting into true astrology or true sidereal, thanks to Rochelle from Amethyst Ascension. So I'm starting to learn about that. And she's such a doll. She sent me some of the like new moon and full moon placements for the whole of the year, so I know exactly what sign it's in and what the placements are for that. So thank you, Rochelle, you're a real one. So I'm just starting to learn about that. Obviously my astrology segments are still just going to be Western astrology because that's how I started them, so I'm just going to keep doing them that way. But it's funny how my Western astrology chart and my true sidereal, both of them have at least 3 or more placements each of Libra and Scorpio, so both of them are still very Libra and Scorpio. It's just funny that that's how they correlated in that way. I have removed my decks from Game Crafter. So I originally chose Game Crafter because it was the cheapest option and allowed me to have the lowest price point. But I was having a lot of issues with them. And it was giving me so much anxiety when things went wrong because I felt awful if someone purchased something and it didn't come out like it was meant to come out. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll take them off there because there's like quality issues too. And maybe I should put them on my playing cards, but I don't know. I just don't think I am built to sell stuff. I hate it. I'm gonna be like, I have like this fear and dread, like something's gonna go wrong with somebody's order and I feel personally responsible for that. So I've decided not to relist them. So if you're one of the very few people who purchased Disco Rocks or Solace Oracle, congratulations. You're probably gonna have the only copies that have ever to be printed. I probably still will make decks just for my own personal enjoyment. It's a creative outlet for me and I enjoy just making my own decks. But yeah, for those ones, and it sucks because I put so much work into Solace. That was almost, I think, a year of my life, especially the guidebook. But yeah, at the moment, I just don't want to deal with it. I just don't want that as an extra thing I have to worry about at the moment. Maybe in the future, I might put it up and make playing cards, but at the moment, I'm not. I had to pull a new winner for my November giveaway. So the new winner is RN Sanel, so congratulations, I will send you all your goodies. I also went to Met Art World, so this didn't make it into the Melbourne Diaries because it was the day after I published it. So they have really cool metallic statues there, very interesting, but we went there to do their arts and craft workshop. So this one was called the Whipped Cream series. So my daughter made a iPhone case, my other daughter made a hairbrush, and I made a photo frame to put a picture of my kids in on my desk. So it was a lot of fun. You just pipe some whipped cream and you stick some charms on and it was a good time, but you do have to take it home with you. And it takes 7 days to dry. So I have never driven so much like a grandma in my life. I was like the whole time, just my hand on the frame, trying to keep it from falling over and being destroyed. So it was very nerve-wracking. But I think most people just leave it there and come pick it up. But it's like an hour drive for us to get there. So I thought, I'm just babes. I'm not coming back here. I'm not coming back here. So we're just going to take them home today and hope for the best. Health-wise, I'm currently in the middle of getting more diagnostic tests done. So today I'm literally going to get my first MRI. Never had one before. Man, the conversation they have with you on the phone in terms of like, do you have any of this, because like if you do, that's very dangerous. is terrifying. I'm like, am I going to die today? Is there like a chance of death from this? Like, I don't think I have any of these things. I bloody hope not. But yeah, I'm getting like 10 things x-rayed and MRIs, and I've already did a blood test. 10 vials, guys. I've never had one that's taken 10 vials from the one test. So that's the most I've ever had taken at one time. But hopefully, yeah, I will get then a definitive diagnosis, and then I can figure out how to manage the condition, or perhaps even like heal it. I don't know what I have yet, so we shall see. Now on to the things I've consumed. So we've got TV. We tried out the new Percy Jackson series. It's not for us. It's not for us. Very young. They went real young with it, and it just was not funny. I found it very frustrating in terms of how things happened. I'm like, come on, guys. It just wasn't very good. I'm sorry. Like, I would say the original movies are better than the series, which, you know, you'd think this being so recent, it would be better. But yeah, the kids and I are just like, no, we don't have any interest to watch any more episodes. We're cool to not continue. Movies. So we went to see Mean Girls, the musical, I guess. We went gold class for a little bit of extra luxury. Not worth it. The food is also not good. I'm sorry to say that I did not like the movie, not one little bit. There were some things I did like about it. I did like the diversity, obviously. It's got a lot more diverse rep, and I love that it was very body inclusive. So even the plastics had different body shapes and sizes. So I thought, okay, that's fan-fucking-tastic. I love that. I would like to normalize that in all media, from, you know, not having everyone be a Victoria's supermodel figure would be amazing. So I really liked that, especially because I have young daughters and I want them to see their bodies on screen. So that was great. However, the music, did not like it. The only bit was when I think Renee Rapp sings, "My name is Regina George." Just that one line. That's the only bit that I liked. Everything else, did not like the music. It wasn't as funny as the original. They cut a lot of the jokes. I don't feel like a lot of the jokes they cut needed to be cut. I feel like the original, guys, the original is just so good. It is so good, and it holds up. It is still relevant. Yes, there's no social media aspect on there, but who gives a shit? It's flawless. Really, the original movie is amazeballs. Like, yes, it doesn't have body diversity, unfortunately, or as much ethnic diversity. So yes, those are the two issues. But otherwise, in terms of the humor and the way it's shot and everything else, it's amazing. The new film, the way it was shot, gave me motion sickness. So there was a lot of like panning around the characters and zooming in and out. And I just found it so off-putting. So I did not like the camera work in this. The costume as well, I feel like they could have done better. They could have really gone there. Like, their makeup was fantastic. Okay, so makeup, gorgeous. I loved all the fun styles and that they did with all of the characters. Gorgeous. But yeah, it just was not good. It was just not a good movie. And my kids who've seen the original also did not like it. So after we went and saw that, we came home and we immediately watched the original Mean Girls because we just wanted to scrub the new one from our memory. I'm really sorry, but I would not bother paying to see it. Like, wait till it comes out and really just watch the original. It's just so good. We finished off the Hunger Games movies. Look, the last two really should have been one film. They should not have split them into two. It should have been one film. That being said, my kids still enjoyed it. Finnick Odair, I'm still salty about that to this day. To this day, I will not talk about it in case you haven't seen it or read it, but Finnick, oh. But yeah, still good. Like, I still enjoy it. Like, Hunger Games is a, pivotal moment in my life. Like, that dystopian era was just chef's kiss, and the movies are good and the books are good. It's a fun time. We also watched the movie Leo, which is on Netflix. So it's an Adam Sandler film. And look, he does do the voice that he does when he's, is it like when he did his water boy character, when he's trying to sound dumb? He did do that voice, which is not a favorite of mine. I don't like that Adam Sandler voice. But that being said, this movie about an iguana and any turtle, they're class pets, and you've got a group of, I don't know, the US system is different. I would say 10-year-olds in there, and they all take turns taking them home, and these animals can speak. And they end up giving the children all of this life advice, and it's lovely. The teacher, the substitute teacher, is a piece of SHIT, and I was not there for her redemption arc. I don't think she could be redeemed. However, overall, it was actually a lot more fun than we were anticipating. So my 12-year-old, when we put it on, oh, the complaining, "Mom, I don't want to watch this. This looks dumb." Loved it. didn't she? So, yeah, even my 12-year-old enjoyed it. It was fun, and it was good animation, and it had good pacing. It was a good movie. So Leo, a surprise hit for us. Then I watched Saltburn. So Saltburn is definitely what I would probably say a thriller. There is full frontal nudity in this. So much penis. Penis is a thing now. It's so weird. Like back in the old days, you never saw peens. It was only boobas and women's bushes, but no. Welcome to Penisville. So this one is full of like sexually graphic stuff, and look, it didn't bother me, okay, like at all. But I have not been intimate with someone for over a year, so I am kind of thirsty. And yeah, I did not mind a scene in which menstrual blood plays a pivotal part of a sexual act. But for other people, I'm thinking that might be an issue. So like I said, check trigger warnings, but if you're not into menstrual blood or semen bathwater, maybe this isn't for you. It was fun. I love the house. Obviously, it's set in this huge manor. Saltburn is a historical home, I believe, and it's evocative of a certain era in the upper class scene in England. I would say upper class, like they're lords, you know, lords and ladies and immense wealth. So there's lots of drugs, lots of partying, lots of sex, lots of the class divide kind of thing. And the main character is unhinged and messed up, so, because it is a thriller. So yeah, I found it rather enjoyable. It's not like a deep film, but it is entertaining. And then I watched Poor Things. So I talked about it in my Melbourne Diary segment, if you want to see a bit more of an in-depth view of it, but I loved it. It was my favorite movie that I watched this month. I thought it was fantastic. It's not one that I would want to watch over and over again. You know, it's one of those films, it's like you would really appreciate it, but it's not like that kind of enjoyable. It's appreciation, not fun. I still thought it was amazing, and glad I saw it. With music, I liked the song Sand by Dove Cameron. So Dove Cameron has released, I think, like 8 songs. I think there's another 8 coming, and I'm enjoying her work. I have a crush on her. She's amazing. If you ever watch her interviews, she's just so articulate and intelligent, and I love watching her speak about anything, to be honest with you. I love her new look. I think it's fire. And the next song that I liked was Jolene, but it's a rework with Dolly Parton and Måneskin, my favorite band. And I had to laugh too, because supposedly Dove Cameron is dating the lead singer, Damiano David from Måneskin, who's also definitely a crush of mine. Looks-wise, not personality-wise in that case. But these two beautiful people, I'm here for it. I'm like, okay, go and be gorgeous together and make beautiful babies. Those are the 2 songs that I enjoyed the most this month. The most lovely cafe I went to was Rain and LaRue. So this is a very posh French restaurant. I didn't get to sit at the fancy tables. I was set up at the bar like a loner, because I was a loner when I went there. Hey, Sylvie. Hello, my darling. Hello, my darling. You're so cute. You're so cute. But beautiful. And the food I had there was really lovely, but hurts the wallet. Hurts the wallet, it does. My favorite meal, I would say, would be the okonomiyaki from Fika, which was that pink restaurant, like so on theme, so Instagrammable, but the food was actually good too. Like okonomiyaki, when it's done really well, is one of my favorite dishes of all time. I do not have the bonito fish flakes on top. I can't with that, so that's the only thing I always get taken off. With the garden, so it is getting cleared up. My ex-boyfriend is coming with his workers and his mum. So I saw my ex-mother-in-law. She gave me some lovely lemonade lemons from her garden. Not ex-mother-in-law, we weren't married, but you know what I mean, like my ex-boyfriend's mum. That's what I meant. So they've been clearing it all out, getting all the beds ready to be replanted again. We're expanding the meadow. So my ex cleared more space. I got more seeds, scattered more seeds. It seems to be growing well there. So I've had success with what I've planted there. So I hope to expand that, because, you know, less mowing of a lawn, and also it's more diversity for, you know, the bees and the butterflies. I want all the pollinators to come as much as possible, because that also helps my veggies grow and my fruit trees fruit. Sylvie likes to play fetch with my daughter's like Barbie accessories. She's got a pair of Barbie glasses at the moment that I'm throwing for her. Purchases. Okay, so like I said, January and then June are the biggest purchasing months of the year for me. It's when I save everything up, because that's our sales season. That's when everything is like 50% off or more. So all these things that I've been sitting on for 6 months to a year is when I purchase them. So I got a candle warmer. I have 3 cats and 2 kids. I need to burn candles. to help with the smells. And I also always worry with fire flame ones because, you know, what if it gets knocked over? Obviously I can't leave those unattended. And with the flame, you do want to burn the candle for at least a minimum of 2 hours to make sure you've got an even melt across the top. So it was like a bit of an issue. And I saw someone say, oh, a candle warmer. So I shall say that obviously, yes, much safer, wonderful. However, the scent is not as strong. So when you burn the candle, it definitely has a lot more aroma than with the candle warmer. Like it throws the scent out further than the candle warmer does. But it's something that I am very happy with because it means I can burn candles for longer. I can leave them when I go to pick up and drop off my kids at school. That's not an issue, and it's safer for the cats as well. They're not going to accidentally singe their fur by walking past it. I purchased a new keyboard. I needed to buy a new computer. I was running obviously my trading, but also doing all my video editing on the same computer, and it could just not cope. Everything was just crashing all the time. So now I've got a dedicated computer for my trading and a dedicated one for my video editing. So I needed a keyboard to go with it because it was just, you know, a screen, and I got one of those like clicky, like really lovely, just a lovely sensory thing for me. And I like the neutral browns. I'm just very into my like neutral color theme at the moment. I know this is all like purple and apricot. I'm still meaning to paint that wall, change it from a blue to an apricot. When I will do it, I don't know, but it's on the agenda at some point. It's just such a big project, so I have to move this entire bed frame, and I can't do it on my own. So I have to wrangle someone in to do it with me, and I feel bad about doing that, so I haven't done it. But yeah, I'm just really into like earth tones at the moment, browns and beiges and tans. It makes me feel warm and cozy and safe. So that was the keyboard. I do wish though that they were wire plugins because I hate the fact that I have to put batteries in them. Like they do last a decent time, but you know, I don't like anything that I have to purchase and then throw away, purchase and throw away. That's a pet peeve of mine. I got this pansy ring from Etsy. I've been wanting a pansy ring for ages, so I purchased this one. I have yet to wear it, but it's a ring that I've enjoyed. Obviously, I purchased a ton of stuff from Twitch's Emporium that was all in my Melbourne diary, so I'm not going to go through all of those ones because you've seen them. So I did buy these earrings. So these are Sacred Hearts with stars. I'll put another actual picture up. So these are new. These are also from Etsy. I do feel like with Etsy, I'm like, am I actually purchasing something that's unique, handmade, so to speak, small business, or am I purchasing something that someone has bought from China in bulk and is selling here for 10 times the price? I don't know. I'm hoping that it is the former and not the latter. I also, sorry if I've changed spots, I just had to go and get something. You'll see that I did buy that lipstick, so I thought I'd give you my review of it. So it's the Too Faced Lip Injection Liquid Lipstick. Yeah, did not know what lip injection meant. So what that means is absolute agony for my lips for 20 minutes. So this is a lip plumping lipstick, which I don't like. They burn your mouth for 15 to 20 minutes and then obviously leave them swollen. So it's a lip irritant. Yeah, that's not for me. Obviously I bought it, I will use it up, but didn't know that was a thing. And that's what that meant. I just thought, you know, it's just, you know, a name for the lipstick. Good news is this did hold fairly true to pigment. So it was more of a red. I tend to turn everything pink. Like this is a red. I believe this is Chanel Gabrielle, but everything sort of turns pink on my lips and I was not finding a maroon. I don't know if maroon suits me. I feel like very dark shades probably aren't my thing, but I wanted one anyway for my dark outfits. So yeah, color-wise, great. It lasts ages, but the burning, don't like that. Oh, and then I splurged on an eyeshadow palette. So for me, the best eyeshadow palettes are Pat McGrath. They have amazing colors. They've got amazing pigment, amazing quality. They are bloody expensive, which is why I think I forgot. This is my second one. But I wanted some more warmer hues. So these are the colors in this one. So it's beautiful quality. My favorite is that purple shimmer one. I don't think it's coming up. This one right here is actually a purple and it is stunning. It is absolutely beautiful. But I especially love the shimmery ones. I just find them very, very fun. But I've already used this quite a bit considering it's brand new in my collection. This is the Mothership 9 Utopian Dream. So this was really fun, a splurge for me. But like I said, I'm having a lot more fun just playing with makeup and being a bit more like over the top with it rather than always just doing the neutral eye and the soft little pink lip. I just want to be a bit more silly and I just want to be a bit more adventurous and wild with my makeup. So I got this. This was not on sale. I don't know if these go on sale because this is from Sephora, but I'm not sure, but I know that they don't last long. Like once they all sell out, they don't seem to get them. Like there's always a new one coming out. So I didn't want to get the hues in this, so I just paid the price for it. So those were all the things that I purchased this month, besides the haul I did from Twitch's Emporium, which you would have seen. I do have a few more things still coming. So we'll see when they arrive what they're like. But yeah, this is, you know, the biggest month. But in terms of decks, I'm definitely, I guess, going on a low buy year. That being said, I have, I think, 14 or 15 decks still to come. The majority of those are Kickstarter decks. Some of them have been updated that they won't even be shipping until June, July of this year. And some were pre-ordered mass market decks, but I can't just cancel them. Like on Amazon, I know you can just click cancel, but this was not through Amazon, so I don't know how that works. I've just left them. So yeah, I have like 15 decks still to come in this year. So it's a huge amount. I reached it's kind of like the saturation point for me. The frenzy of collecting is definitely over, and I'm just getting to the overwhelm stage a bit. There's just too much. So like I said, after all of these decks come in, I'm just being very, very selective in what I purchased. Unless it's something that's an instant, I love this speaks to my soul, I cannot risk not having it. And that's only happened once. So I did buy one deck this month, and that was the playing cards that BB from Pure Red Velvet showed on her channel. So that is the only purchase I made, and that's because, like I said, it was something that I'd already been obsessing over, not even knowing what it was and that it was available for purchase. Besides that, there are a lot of decks that I've put on a list. So I've got a list now going where if I'm like, oh, that really interests me, I put it on the list. And I'm going to touch base with it in like 6 months' time. Do I still really want this, or did I completely forget about its existence besides it being on this list? And everyone's been doing the unicorn deck tag. I have not gotten any of my unicorn decks, so I cannot participate in that at the moment. But I'll put some of my unicorn decks up here, and I'll look every now and again, but I'm not willing to pay exorbitant prices for it. I'm just not in that place anymore. In the beginning, obviously I would have, but I'm like, oh, I felt like I've spent a lot of money on decks, and now I'm curbing that in terms of that area of my life that I'm spending on. Because like I said, I'm wanting to spend my fun money more on experiences than deck or item accumulation. Like taking my kids to that craft workshop, they love that so much. And yes, they got to take something physical home with them, but they were just like, this was so much fun, I had such a great time, and that's what is filling me up at the moment. I've also got a lot of things around the house that I'm going to need to fix. This is a very old house. I think it's like 75 years old now, and I've been slowly fixing things along the way, but just more and more issues are arising, and the very expensive issues. So I'm like, okay, some of that fun money is probably going to have to go to actual repair work on my house. Let's make sure I've got the funds to do that. But yeah, that's how I'm going forward. Decks I like, put them on a list, wait 6 months, and then decide, do I still want to get it, and then purchase it then. But yeah, I've got so many decks coming in. So I'm not going to be short for new decks to work with. But like I said, I'm still got all these other decks too that I have not worked with that much, because I just accumulated my entire collection in 2 years. It's such a short time to have. I think I've got like 100 decks now. That's a lot. My favorite book, I totally skipped over the book portion, which is a laugh considering I have a whole book channel. So this month I read 53 books. I did DNF 13 of them. So 13 were DNF, so 40 books in full. My favorite book was probably Load Games, which is a fantasy book. It's definitely got a romance element. It was just like a Hunger Games for witches and vampires. It was fun. You know, it's not a serious read. It was very entertaining. So that was a 4.75. Unfortunately, no 5-star books for me this month out of the 53 I picked up. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. My favorite cover though was a manual for how to love us. I just think this cover is gorgeous. I have a very big soft spot for kind of this vintage style of drawing or anything that feels like a botanical journal. So I thought the cover was stunning. The book, not so much, but the cover, gorge. So without much further ado, let's look at all of the crocheting and all of the decks. Okay, so welcome to the crochet and deck portion. So I'll just start with showing you some of the squares that I've made from leftover yarns as usual. So those are all the squares that I have made. So let's start with some of the other ones that I haven't shown on the channel. So here in this little bag, I'll bring it up close, you can see the flower button. This is in Cascade Yarns in 5, 6, 15 and dyed by Hand Yarns in Katabatic Wings. And I just did it, Katabatic Winds, sorry. I just did it in Suzette Stitch. So in here, I have the Care Bears playing cards. So we have gotten into playing with cards with my kids ever since New Year's Eve when we stayed up to do it. This is upside down. So I decided to get a few decks on hand just in case anything gets wrecked. And we originally got the Adventure Time one, which I'll show you in a second, but that was getting wrecked. So I was like, all right, let's get a deck of cards that are still cute, because I wanted some cuteness and some like sort of childlike fun and frivolity, but with a deck that we're not going to be too precious about. So we thought Care Bears. We love the Care Bears, but you know, we're not obsessed with the Care Bears like we are with Adventure Time. So there's just a few bears that they put on here. So not all the bears like you would see in the show. Obviously you've got the Sunshine Bear and the Luck Bear, and then the purple, the pink and the blue, I think are the other ones. But it's super cute. It's on a linen cardstock, so it's good quality. It's got great like flexibility, and we're pretty happy with it. So we've played with this a decent amount, but we ended up getting some other cards in, which you will see in a second, that have ended up being the go-to playing cards. But this is a good backup for us, or ones we might take on holiday, because they're super small and can just chuck them in your purse. But like every card is different, which is great. But some, as you can see, are a little bit same. But then you've got some lovely group shots too for the court cards. You get multiple people in them. But yeah, these are the Care Bear playing cards. So next up, we're going to look at the Tea Time Oracle. So this is the original box that came in. I don't like tuck boxes, to be honest. I just don't think they last long. But I thought I'd keep the box just so I could show it to you. But yes, I'll be chucking this out now. It also came with a zine. So in this one, as you can see, there's stuff about pleasure versus happiness. But it was a lot about like animism, which I think is really cool, and how to connect two plants and use them as allies. So it was a nice little read. So this is the bag that I made for the Tea Time Oracle. So the yarn is Lovebird Lane. It's a BFL, and it's in the color Plum. So for this one, I did crunch stitch. So you've got like bumpy bits and then not non-bumpy bits. So here is the guidebook. So it's pretty simple. There's not a lot, like in terms of divination, there's a lot about the type of tea and then how to make the tea. But I think it's pretty decent. It is separated into different categories, which I hate that, because it means I have to continually look at the index to find the page. I just wish things were just either alphabetical order, or if the cards have a number, numbered. So you do have to keep going back to it. But it's only got one staple as well, so I don't know how long this will hold up. These are the backs of the cards. I think they're fine. I don't love them, but they're kind of cute. So as you can see, I edged mine in that kind of Bordeaux, purple, red, because there's a lot of that color on the deck. I thought I'd show it to you with the deck that I paired it with. So I chose to pair it with the Pulp Girls Tarot because it's got a kind of like cartoon, fun, chill vibe to it. The cardstock is lovely. It's, I don't even know what to call it. It kind of feels like a linen, but I'm not 100% sure it's a linen, but it's flexible. It's got a like satin kind of feel to it. They are tall, as you can see, and a little bit wider than a standard tarot, which I don't mind. I can still shuffle it just fine. Some pictures I like more than others. Like this one doesn't do anything for me, but I do love the pictures of tea with flowers. I think they're super cute. It doesn't go with a whole lot because it has such a pink color tone to it, or purple, whatever you want to call that shade. So yeah, it might be a bit tricky to pair up aesthetically with decks, but it has such a cozy feel. how have I been using it? So I tend to use it, I'm a big tea drinker. So I do use it to be like, which tea would benefit me today, whether it's the properties or the actual nutritional aspect of the tea. You can use it in a divinatory way. I tend to use it more when journaling. I like to journal with this deck. So for instance, Moroccan Mint is under Nourishing Traditions. So already just the word Nourishing Traditions would key me into like, you know, what are some nourishing traditions passed down in my family or that I've implemented that would benefit me today. But the keywords are the ones that I use the most. So we've got processing and digesting. So I like use that when journaling, or I might use that as like the key basis for a spread. You know, what are some blocks I have with processing things, or what's something that I need to digest and sit with, yada, yada, yada. So I tend to use this more as just like a self-reflective tool. It's very nourishing. It has got that kind of calming, nurturing vibe to it. It's a cozy deck. So if you like cozy things, this is why I've also paired it with Pulp Girls, because it's just a very non-confrontational space. So it's a safe space. It's chill. It's something that I like to do when I've got the time to really be present. Just like with tea, I like to have intentional tea drinking and make it a actual ritual. So that's kind of how I've used it. It's just, it reminds me of like this, I love this image, one of these images the most. This reminds me of the Charmed House. It's got that kind of English countryside, have a cup of tea with the sunshine and a good book energy to it. So I do enjoy it. It's not one that I would like go to all the time. It's a mood. It's a vibe deck, you know, when I'm in the right space for it, or or I'm wanting to make a ritualistic tea, I'll bust it out. But yeah, this was the Tea Time Oracle. Once again, I think I saw this on Christine L's channel, and I really enjoyed it. Take a break from the decks to show you some other things that I've made. So I did make some clothing. I made this top and some coasters as well. It's with threaded embrace. It's a cotton yarn and the color is Suncatcher. So after I made this top, my kids told me, Mum, that's a Rainbow Dash top. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is. I probably won't make this top again. I totally messed up like the decrease and the increase. So it's not a very even V at the front in terms of the corset. And I've decided that I just don't like the tie up cotton tops. But that being said, like otherwise if you don't do the tie up, you will end up getting some stretching and some warping, but I'd rather just do that than deal with lacing it up the back. I also started making a top for my daughter. It was like going to be one of those mesh shrugs, but it was way too tight on her. Like way too tight. I am not good at doing clothing at all. I think it's one of those things where you do have to put a lot of mathematics. You do have to do a lot of pre-planning. I don't like doing any of those things. I like my crochet to be very mindless and easy, and not something I have to continually check and recheck and adjust and then do different components for. I've come to that realization. I am still trying a top for the last time. If it doesn't work out, I am officially giving up. But yeah, making clothing, unless it's just a tank, just a simple rectangle tank with straps, is not something I enjoy doing. So I will just stick to, you know, making bags and coasters and things. But it's just because I had so much cotton yarn, I thought, well, I got to use this cotton yarn up and make stuff out of it. But yeah, tops are not for me. So I just don't have the foresight and the patience, and I don't like having to measure and remeasure stuff. So okay, so I'll show you my other little playing card deck. So Indy picked the button for this one. This is a knit or die in Mallee flower, and I did it in Suzette stitch. And it's for the Adventure Time playing cards. So this is what kicked off our playing card. This is what kicked off our playing card obsession. It was this deck, but we really, really like this deck. So we don't want to play with it anymore because it was getting a bit wrecked. Like my kids, when they play Snap, they go all out. So you can see like there's some creases, there's some marks on it. It's already well loved. It's still lovely quality, so it's that linen cardstock. But yeah, we've relegated this to a collection only deck, so she just takes it out when she wants to look at the pictures, but we don't actually play with it anymore. But we had, I think it was 2 weeks straight of just playing this to death, and we used it for our New Year's Eve night together. Like, this poor guy, like, oh my God, the 6 of clubs, you got ruined, son. So yeah, so we've put this aside to try and preserve it. But it was a blast. I think it's beautiful. Every card is different. So there's so much variety in terms of the scenes depicted. Even the illustration style changes a bit. So it's really nuanced and it's really interesting to look at. So this is the Fiona and Cake version of Adventure Time. So everyone is gender swapped in this. But yeah, we all loved it. This was just like such a winner amongst all of us, and highly recommend if you like that TV series. Okay, so next up we've got the Tantric Dakini Oracle. This is still in its box. The box is absolutely massive. It's a slide out. This is a mass market deck. This is the guidebook. It's a big boy, but the fonts are decent size. It is in black and white. There's a lot about the setup of this deck. Look, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think it's a very easy to grasp deck. It's a bit confusing. I found that the best way to use this deck is in its method of doing the Tree of Life, because each card also has a specific meaning depending on where it falls. So I found like for this one, it was useful to use it in that way for the divinatory meanings. Okay, so this is how it comes to, and I find that they do slide all over the place. So these are the backs, which I don't mind. I don't like the white border. I feel like when you've got like very dark backgrounds like that, the white's just a bit jarring, so I would have definitely just cut that off. The cardstock is just like a typical mass market satin, papery, cardboardy cardstock, so, you know, it's not my favorite. I do like the artwork in this, not that one. Some of the images, no, it just looks too much like, someone's photograph. But generally, I like the imagery, not all of it. So it is a mixed bag. I do find the topics really interesting. But for me, I did end up using this on its own, so I just found it a lot easier to use on its own. I definitely didn't use it in a divinatory manner. It was more just like a contemplation, sort of just sit with a card. I might have used it to springboard into looking up my own Tantra stuff, because I didn't really like the way the guidebook was written. I don't know, there's something about the writing style and just the formatting of it that, like I said, wasn't user-friendly for me, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy my time with it. So I did, like I said, use this separately, like with my own knowledge and in other ways. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one. I am sort of putting it into my Persephone pile, which is my version of a purgatory bin, because, yeah, I'm just not in love with it. I just sometimes just found it didn't resonate with me, what I got. And like I said, some of the imagery I don't like as well. So like the imagery is jarring. But yeah, I also found, like I said, the write-up in here is sometimes very similar between cards. It just sounds very similar. So because I didn't love the guidebook as well, it's really putting it all on the readings, so to speak. And because like the readings didn't always resonate, I'm left in this sort of like, well, some of the images are nice, some of the topics are cool, sometimes I'll get a card that I'm like, oh, interesting, how does that fit with me, what am I taking from it? So I don't know, this one might just be one, like I said, like cool in theory, but in practice for me just doesn't align. So I'm definitely, putting it in the limbo area and trying some other things out with it. And we'll see, like, I just hate that image. Not a fan. We'll see how we go. Because it's a mass market deck, I'm not like super precious about really, really trying. I'll give it, a few more months, and then I might end up just putting it aside for my, November giveaway again. So this was the Tantric Dakini. Okay, so next up I'm showing you some more playing cards. So these are cat and dog playing cards. So it comes like that, which is pretty decent. This is really cheap. I think it was like 24 Australian dollars for this from a bookstore. So I'll just show you briefly. It's tuck boxes, and you know, tuck boxes won't last. So we'll end up having to make a bag for this as well. So the backs, no, the backs just don't do it for me. Look, these are all going to be upside down, all turned around, and I can't be bothered writing up each one. So basically every card has a different type of dog on there, which is really cool. They've got a decent array of dog breeds, and yeah, my daughter really loves it. It's a very clean aesthetic as well. It's not too, that's probably my favorite one in this one. I used to have Shar-Pei, and Shar is obviously very similar to Shar-Pei's. It's great quality, so it is a just sort of satin cardstock. It's a bit thicker, so it's got some kind of core in it. But yeah, it's, like I said, it's a bit more of a minimal aesthetic, so it's not overwhelming visually, but like it is obviously up, they've got a right way up and a wrong way up. So, you know, if that bothers some people that the cards aren't reversible, that might be an issue, but it doesn't bother us. The jokers obviously in this one are cats. It's the same for both of the jokers in this deck. But yeah, so this is the dog one. And so this is the cat one, same stitch, you know, with the word on the back, and it's the single color. So yeah, this has become our go-to. We want to have a game deck. So we just oscillate between the cat, that's my best friend Kate's cat, Australian Mist, oscillate between the cat and the dog deck. So we, you know, use each one pretty evenly. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, kind of like Sylvie, but I think we had a lot of fun like going through all the cats and being like, which one looks the most like Nova and which one looks like Bluebell. Bluebell's not in here, so there is no calico representation in here. So if you wanted a calico, you're going to be disappointed. There's no calicos. And here we go. That's the Joker card. That's the doggy that they chose. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. And if, like I said, a mass market deck that you just get at your local bookstore, good quality. You get 2 decks of cards. That's the closest to Nova for only $24. So it's really affordable, and they've been holding up really well. Like I said, my kids, that's probably Sylvie, don't play gently, let's just say it that way. And this one's shown almost little to no wear and tear, whereas obviously, yeah, the Adventure Time was a lot more fragile. It's just that they're a lot thicker, and it's almost like it's got a plastic coating, so it's a little harder to bend and tear. But these were these 2 decks. Okay, so next up we've got the Outlaw Oracle. So I decided not to make a bag for this because I just feel like this cigarette style box is perfect for the deck. It just suits the energy, and I didn't feel right making a bag for it. So this is the guidebook. It's wonderful quality. It's full color, glossy paper. So you've got the title, some keywords, a very condensed like sentence about it, upright, reversed, songs, and then sort of, I guess you'd say divinatory, but it's really not a lot of like divination meanings in this. It's more about the image on there and the history behind it. So this is like a historical deck for me. It's very much a place-centered deck about where it is from. So these are the backs. I do like the backs. I don't think they 100% fit the theme. This has a bit like of a, I know this is a spiritual kind of outlaw deck, but I don't know, like for me, it doesn't suit the imagery 100%. It comes in a soft gold gilding. It is beautiful, absolutely beautiful cardstock. So I did pair this with the Death Duel Oracle because they just worked well together, and they both have that beautiful swishy matte cardstock. So beautiful cardstock, one of my favorites. So I was sitting on this deck for so long until BB from Pure Red Velvet showed that she modded the deck by sticking stickers on some of the cards that were a bit jarring. So there was a lot of like very realistic people. Like obviously it's actual photos of people in the modern day world. And I don't vibe with that. Just like a picture of a bartender behind a bar. I'm like, I don't want to see Joe from, you know, down the road. Like I just don't want to do that. Takes me away from like being able to see myself in the cards and all that sort of stuff. So I followed her vibe and put stickers on them. Did I have as good stickers as BB? No, I did not. I did not. I just worked with what I had, you know, and anything was better than seeing the person's face. Like this reminds me of a, you know, grandpa. And I just, yeah, didn't want to see it. Like a long haul driver. He looks like a truck driver, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. With this deck, it kind of feels like rebellious teens under the bleachers, smoking cigarettes, but also discussing Buddhist philosophies and, you know, enlightenment. So it's like this very weird energy, like rough, but also airy. It's got that weird juxtaposition. So yeah, I have stuck over quite a few of the cards. I do find that these, like I said, these two work really well together energetically. I think visually it's pretty decent too, but this is definitely more of an energetic pairing for me. I'll see if I can go through most of them. Some of the cards I have out because I was journaling with them. I don't love the smudge. So the smudge does like trigger my OCD a bit, like to want to clean it. Like I am drawn to it every time, but you know, I can like get past it. So this one, you have the elemental on there and it's numbered, which is great. So you just check the numbers. It's also got a few sort of other keywords. I got this card so much, it was my stalker card, as well as like sort of sentences on the front. And then you've also got like a little sentence on the side there, which is like, it feels like an added bonus to me. So my stickers are real random. I'll go through so you can see all the random stickers that I put on there. There's no like cohesiveness in terms of like the sticker aesthetic. It's just like whatever I had. You know, I don't have a go-to like site for stickers. So I just try to find something in a quick search. It does feel very American. Like I said, the place and the geographical location of this is very heavy for someone who's obviously Australian. I've never even been to America. I don't have that connection to this deck, but I can imagine that a lot of people who have been in these areas, like especially these desert places, would feel that connection. It would be like kind of nostalgic to them and obviously trigger like a lot of memories of like growing up, whereas I don't have any of that connection, but I can still appreciate it even though I have never been to these places. Like I've seen them in movies and I can, you know, imagine myself there. This reminds me of the movie Big. I wonder if it is the exact one from the movie Big or not. But some of the photography is just really beautiful. Like I said, there were some that I had to cover up because they were just too, you know, like everyday photographs. Like I feel like I'm looking at someone's personal photographs of their friends. And then it sort of feels like, well, those aren't my friends. So I can't like connect to it. But yeah, but then there's some images in here that are just stunning. Like, and I do like the whitewashed effect, the very grainy, vintage kind of feel that some of the other photos have. So there are insects in here in case you don't like insects. Like, I just realized some people do have issues with like insects or animals, but not for me. I had to also cover up the alcohol. I'm not an alcoholic drinker, so I didn't really want to see a can of beer on there. So I did cover it up, and it's the same with the Good Time Man was drinking a lot of alcohol. So there is a lot of alcohol in this deck as well. So I know that might not be everyone's cup of tea either. You go Cattleman's Cafe. I do like the neon. I'm a sucker for neon. This is one of my favorite images. Sacred Hearts I just love them. But yeah, I've got some other ones that I'm journaling with at the moment. So they're not in here. This isn't the full deck, but I just thought I'd show you through all of them. I also, you know, I just like crosses and stuff and flowers and roses, and there's some of that in here. But yeah, so this was the Outlaw Oracle. Okay, so next up we got a bag that I totally messed up. I crocheted this when I didn't have the deck on hand because I'd lent it to my mother. Made it way too big, as you can see. But I'll just bring it up so you can see. It's got a like, you know, cozy autumn foliage button on there, which would give you a hint. So this is King Fiber. This is in the color Monarch. And this is in Suzette Stitch. So as you can see, way too big. I also had a modding fail with this. So I was going for an orange like this, like the bag, and the texture ended up drying very salmon, which is not the vibe I was going for. So if you didn't guess it by now, this is the Cozy Witch Tarot deck by Amanda Lovelace, artwork by Janina Medeiros. It is just black and white and matte paper. There are some card spreads, so I did do all of them. They were pretty cute. I love it when they're themed. Cozy Night In was something really fun, as well as storybook spread. So this is a mass market deck. It is on a very thick like cardboard. So it's not my favorite kind of plain card material. It is a matte though, which is nice, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the cardstock. So I wasn't drawn to this initially. Like the illustration style is not really my vibe, and I did have Amanda Lovelace's other Oracle deck, which I ended up rehoming because it just didn't work for me. But I had a feeling after seeing people's walkthroughs that this could be a tarot deck my mother could use. So my mother, up to this point, has not had any luck with tarot. It just didn't make sense to her, didn't work for her. But this tarot deck feels like an oracle, especially because they've got these very easy to understand and applicable sentences to kind of sum up the card on there, and then paired with the modern imagery, it makes it relatable. So I thought if she's ever going to have a tarot deck that can work for her, it would be this one. So I thought I'd get it first just to make sure, you know, it was okay. I just didn't want to like give her something that wasn't good. And yeah, I actually was pleasantly surprised by it. I'll show you what I paired it with. So like a lot of other people, I paired it with the Magical Spirit Oracle. I'll just split the deck so it's a bit more even. It's not even. So because I do find like this isn't super easy to pair with a lot of things because it's got the beige borders. I can't see myself trimming them though, because it's just a bit too close to everything. And I don't know, I just thought, you know what, don't. It's too big of a project, I think, for me to trim it. So I just left it. But, you know, this is also a deck that just doesn't go with a lot of things because the same reason, the brown borders. But they do go together. They've both got a very loving, non-judgmental energy to them. There is a spiritual vibe there, but there's also a really cozy feel. It is called the Cozy Witch Tarot. So it has that gentle, nurturing quality to it, like a really good friend. There's a lot of body diversity in this, as well as ethnic diversity. And I think people were complaining about the age diversity though, that it does feel like a younger deck, like a 20-something. And I do see that. But that doesn't bother me, like the age one. I can work with one that has elders. I can work with one that has kids in it. You know, teenagers, it doesn't bother me. It's more about the, if it's going to be contemporary, like if it's going to be a modern deck, does it have, you know, ethnic and body diversity in it? So obviously this is all women as well, I believe. I don't believe there's any masculine men in here, I think. I'm pretty sure it's all like very feminine centric. I don't love the mask thing. It's like, I don't want visual reminders of the pandemic. Like I'm hoping like it is just a very brief moment in time. Like it's not something that's going to be continual throughout the rest of our lives. So I just don't want to be reminded of that particular time, especially being from Melbourne, Australia, where it was particularly rough and hard and very isolating. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. This isn't really my style, but I do enjoy it. And it's good too when you just want to, like, you can definitely do it on its own because it has that oracle kind of feel. But also if you just don't want to put in a lot of brain work, these sentences are so well done. I think they're really good. I think they're well surmised. So that is well done. My mother, as it turns out, freaking loved this deck. So yes, this was a deck that she can get behind in terms of a tarot deck. So I've gotten her own copy. So I'm glad, like my intuition on that was correct. This deck also has a very autumnal feel to me, even though there are more like summery pictures. I think it's just the color palette and the fact that it's got that, you know, warm beige as well. So it's a very like fall autumn kind of deck. But yeah, it's gentle and sweet and loving and accepting and inspirational as well, very affirming, and then like paired together, it's a good time, pep talk kind of vibe going on. But I think, yeah, a lot of people did really enjoy this, and because it's a mass market, you know, it is a lot more affordable. There's so many cats in this deck, so props for that, because, you know, I love a cat, and obviously they've got like more of a same-sex relationship going on being depicted there because it's all women here. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like I said, even some of the darker, heavier cards, they're still uplifting. and motivating rather than depressing or alarming. So yeah, this is I think a good all-round non-confrontational deck. Okay, so next up we have the Secret of Life Arcanum Vitae deck. So this really isn't captured on the camera very well. It is so rainbow holographic. It is fantastic. Oop, there goes the magic coin, which you get with it. It is such fantastic quality, so very well done in terms of that. This is the guidebook. It's got beautiful embossed holographic gold on it. It is full color, glossy pages. So the main theme of this deck is birth, death, and rebirth. So it's a lot about also like reincarnation. So here we go, life, death, and rebirth is the main thing, which I find really interesting. I went through every single one of these spreads. I thought they were really cool. I've never done stuff like this before. I particularly did like North Node, but the one that was like really interesting to me was this Soul's Passage Through Time Pomegranate Pearls. I thought that was really cool. So the spreads are great. This I didn't bother reading with as much. This is like a story kind of thing. I didn't bother reading that bit. So you've got like the keywords and then the astrological correspondences and then about the card there. So you've got it split obviously into the two different ones. So here too, when you've got the Lenormand card, it teaches you all about the Lenormand and cartomancy in general, and there's lots of spreads for that as well. So it is really well done. The color gradients change, which is really cool. This one also has like a, what would you call that? Like negative, positive, energy, ominous, extrasensory, like vibe, I guess, of the card on there too. And then you've got a few combinations. Obviously, it doesn't do every single combination, but the guidebook was pretty well done. I don't love how it's written. It's not very simple and straightforward in terms of like if you just want a divination meaning. I don't think it's like the best for that personally. So these are the backs of this one. I will show them separately. I think they're very pretty. I don't know if I love the color combo and the color bits on here. I think I probably might have preferred it just gold and beige. It does have bright, that's a reddy pink matte edging, which once again is a interesting choice. The cards are all beige with the holographic gold, so it's a rainbow. It is a rainbow gold. Like I said, I don't think it's showing up. So I paired this with the Green Glyphs Oracle because it's once again, it's got a beige kind of background and it's got the holographic rainbow gold on it as well. So they kind of resonated in that way, and it's simple. I felt like I needed something simple to go with this. So this is just the major arcana, and in complete honesty, this deck is not something I would have purchased now. Like I think I just got caught up with the aesthetics of this deck rather than the practicality and use, because I just don't really use just major arcanas in my practice. I like to work with all of the energies of the complete tarot, not just the main arcana. But I know some people do just use majors. I generally don't. So with these cards, you do also have the planetary or astrological association up the top. The imagery is a little simplistic. It's like almost cartoonish to me. But it's nice. Like it's lovely. Like I said, the quality of this deck is absolutely amazing. This is a satin cardstock, quite thick. I really don't know if I'm going to be using it though. Like I did enjoy these together. I thought it was fun, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is something I'm going to reach for over just a regular tarot deck. I might not. So we have to see. As you can see, they are also all renamed. There, you have to like look at the number to figure out which card it is. So like that's the Hierophant, and you've got, you know, the Taurian thing up the top. That's life lessons. Yeah, this probably is going into my Persephone pile to see like how much am I going to use it, or am I just going to keep this as a collector's item, because like I said, it's very pretty, it's expensive. It was a Kickstarter deck. It's probably one of those decks that's not going to be around forever. I might just keep it for collecting sake, but let's look at the other deck that came with it. So this is the sort of expanded Lenormand one. So it's got other extra cards on there that come with it. It's got the holographic gold gilding on the side. I'm surprised the other one didn't have that. And it's got gradients. So the gradients do differ. So I chose to pair it with the Mythos Tarot because I felt like the Mythos Tarot has a lot of the same colors as this deck does. So it's got the beautiful rainbow holographic on there. It's got planetary and elemental associations. It's also got the cartomancy, like the Six of Hearts on there, as well as the Lenormand. So there's a lot of information on the cards. This also has that swishy matte cardstock, which I love. So I'm also surprised that they chose 2 different cardstocks for both of these decks. So it was an interesting choice. Like I said, once again, stunning quality, really beautiful. I do find it visually appealing. I think it is very pretty. The issue for me is I already have a Lenormand deck that I use every day. And I do prefer it because, like I said, this also has all these additional cards. And I don't know, I can't remember if it said like what system that is from or how they chose them. I don't remember. I just had too many decks I work with. I did prefer to use this more than the Major Arcana only. Like this worked a lot more for me. Obviously, I pulled 2 of these cards because I always find like anything that's sort of Lenormand style works better as a pair than as a single card pull. It was interesting to read the extra cards that I hadn't heard of before, so that was fun. But once again, I'm not sure about how much I will actually use this in my practice. Like it's got a novelty to it. It's like I said, very well done, but it's just not my thing anymore. So obviously when I backed it, I was feeling in a different vibe. But yeah, when I got it, I was like, am I going to even use this? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I'm not. So, I don't know. But like I said, because it's just such beautiful quality, I might just keep it as a collector's item. I know I don't do that a lot, but it seems like I'm going into my collector's era where I might just have things that I keep, you know, because they're pretty and probably a limited run. But we'll see. I am putting it in my 75 just to see if I will use it much. If obviously I'm not called to use it at all, then I might just keep this one as a collector's item. But yeah, this is not something I would have purchased now because I am looking more for usability, and I just don't have the need for a second Lenormand or a Majors only deck. But I can see how this would appeal to a lot of people. But also I thought I'd take the other things out there so they don't distract. With this guidebook, I didn't love the way it was written up either. I found it a bit confusing. It's not like super clear, the clarity of the writing. It's not very easily grasped. It is a bit harder, like you have to chew on it a little bit more, and it's not so straightforward. So yeah, the writing for the guidebook isn't my favorite. I ended up just using my own interpretations of, like, say, the Lenormand cards that I know. I just used my own knowledge, whereas obviously though for the extra cards I did have to go to the book because I'm like, well, I don't know what the protection card means or the moon means in this particular deck. Like, is this a tarot association or has it got its own meaning? So I did have to, like, promise. I did have to, we'll look up promise for instance. So the good thing is that they are numbered, so it's easy to find because of the number. So this says accord, agreement, deal. It's dynamic and positive, and it's air and Saturn. So it says it's referred to as the hands. So there obviously is the other cards have their pre-established structure. Okay, I've just gone through quickly again, and it just refers to Lenormand and cartomancy. So like I said, I don't have, maybe this is Lenormand and it's just more, I don't know. Someone else can like explain to me like what these extra ones are from, if it's Lenormand or cartomancy, I'm not sure. So yeah, it says it's traditionally the hands, whatever that means. So it's about a deal or agreement. And then this is how it says it. So it says it symbolizes a deal or agreement of some sort. When it falls close to the significator card, it can mean a meeting with a friend or someone we know. When it falls away from the significator, it could mean meeting someone new. So this is based on the, I think, tableaus and stuff, like the way that you actually place the cards. So you'd have to use it in that way to get those meanings. It's been changed to the promise to further emphasize the meaning behind that meeting or agreement, as these depict a bond that has the opportunity to transform our lives. When surrounded by positive cards, the promise card shows up as a fated encounter that was meant to happen. If the promise card has ominous cards close, it appears as a warning to keep our guard up. So do you know what I mean? This one is very heavily based on the surrounding cards, so you don't think you could really do much of a one card spread with this, and it's better used in the tableaus, I guess.
But yeah, that is the meanings it has in there. So it's like very simple. You might want to go elsewhere to expand upon those meanings. But like I said, very pretty. I just don't know if I'm going to actually be using it. Okay, so then we have Inner Ecology. So this was a Kickstarter deck. It came pretty quickly. I think this was like within 2 months of backing it. It's a great quality box. I actually don't think I'm going to make a bag for it. I do find that I don't like making bags for really, really tiny decks. I actually think boxes are better. So I think I will be keeping it in the box. Maybe I might change my mind in the future. I don't know. This is the guidebook and the backs. I like it. I think it's cute. It's got like a cottage core kind of vibe with the 70s feel because of the color scheme, but I do like it. So this is very simple. You've just got an introduction page and then it goes straight into the cards and the meanings. It's got the name of the card and then the meaning there. These are more about the ecological associations with the cards, like the nature surrounding it, than divinatory meanings. So this is not a deck that I use as divination tool. I did do the Inner Ecology spread at the end and I thought that was really fun. They have a shiny gold gilding, which is still soft on the hands, and they've got a really lovely swishy matte, very thick though, so super thick. And obviously they're very small. They're like Lenormand size or possibly even smaller, bridge, I'm not sure. So I did end up pairing this with Brit's Third Eye. I just thought it was a fun pairing. This is a very mini size deck, so it suits the small miniature size of this deck as well. Like it keeps it manageable and it doesn't overwhelm the deck. And also this has a lot of white space with the white borders and it complements the white space and the airiness of this deck as well. This one is a very versatile deck, so I feel like it would go aesthetically with a lot of decks. Obviously energetically, anything that's plant-based, it will work really well with. You've got Fire with the Sun and Knight of Wands. These two just really played well. You know, when you got a deck that just like they're instant buddies, they're instant buddies. And I had a lot of fun with them. So I didn't really use this as much for divination. This was more, once again, for like journaling, self-reflection, and definitely in regards to my nature practice. So how I connect to the earth in specifically. So I really appreciated it for that. This is one of the only cards I feel like is a bit jarring compared to the rest of the cards. Same as the microorganisms. So the ones that are very like look like this feel a bit different to the other images, but I love the colors in it. It does definitely remind me, there's a lot of images in here that do remind me of Kat Ryle's, what's it called, Roots and Wings Oracle. There are some that do remind me of that. I was like, oh, that's very similar, but it's a nice, very calming, gentle illustration style. But like I said, I really love the colors that are in here, and it was fun as well. Like, you know, it's a very also calming deck. Like the way it's written is very calming and gentle, but like I said, very ecologically focused. Look at that, the Devil, Predation, Ten of Pentacles. Like you could definitely use it as a divinatory kind of book, but the meanings, like not so much. I feel like it is more inner work, reflection, very well suited for journaling or any sort of, like I said, nature based practice that you have. I think this would also go well with, like I said, any nature books, but green, witch stuff, like herbal stuff, could probably use it that way. But it's so pocket sized, you could take it with you and, you know, pop it out on a walk or wherever you are situated. So it is versatile in that sense as well, like portability and also how much it can go with so many decks. It was hard narrowing down the options because I just felt like, oh, it looks great with this, looks great with that. Obviously the bigger decks it was a bit overwhelming with, but it's very pretty. And it was one that I wasn't 100% sure about because I thought, oh, how naturey is it? But I don't mind it. I think it's just because I just really like the quality of it. It's a really good quality. I like the illustration style. I love the coloring. I think it's fab. I found a pairing that I really adore together. I think sometimes once you find like a bonded pair, it's like you become obsessed. You just want to keep pulling them out. You're like, what conversations are we having together today? I'm interested to know. So yeah, I did all kinds of readings with it. Like I said, some divinatory, you know, nature-based, relationship-based as well, because obviously anything to do with like your relationship with nature can also be applied to your relationships in general, you know, like how the interconnectedness of everything and how you are affected by it and also affect others, and also like location and place. So it's like an internal and external kind of deck. This is one of my favorite images. It just makes me happy. It really makes me happy. So it's funny with the yin yang there, and then you've got the symbiosis with the wasps and the fig. That just freaks me out. Does anybody else get freaked out by that? The whole thing with the figs and wasps? It kind of turned me off figs. I was like, I don't know if I can eat figs again. I'm not sure about this. But yeah, this was a very surprising deck. I didn't think I would like it as much as I ended up liking it. So I had a really good time with it. And it's definitely one I'm keeping in my collection. Like I said, I just wasn't sure if I was going to, that's 5 of Cups of Cycles and 4 of Swords, going to make a bag. You know, I don't know, like it's kind of cute and I want to make a bag for it, but then I'm like, oh, it doesn't need a bag. It's got a perfect box, but I think eventually I will make a bag for it. But at the moment, I just want to keep it in its little box because it's just like perfect, the perfect home for it. And I might actually take this out with me. I actually feel like I want to take this on a walk and do a spread in a park. It has that kind of energy, like, hey, take me out. Let's put me in nature. Bring me on a picnic. But even more, I feel like it's a solitary kind of like going on a hike, you know, on my own and just sitting by a running, you know, river, brook, and pulling out some cards. So yeah, this was the Inner Ecology Oracle. Okay, and the final deck for this month is The Key to the Kingdom by Toni Moiwissen, don't know. This is thanks to Bibi from Pure Red Velvet, who found this deck. I'd seen it on Pinterest. It comes in like the slide out thing. I'm definitely 100% making a bag for this, but I'm breaking my no yarn buy rule to do it because I just don't have anything that suits. And I would like to have something that has like the primary colors and some black. So it comes with this little pamphlet that has the poems in it. So this is a hardcover book, which fantastic, beautiful end papers, lovely embroidered fabric cover. So absolutely beautiful. I won't throw it away, but I kind of want to. The ordering is a bit bizarre though. I don't know the rhyme or reason. So it starts with like 1, 2, but it's just of different suits. And then it starts again, 1, 2, 3, 4, but like the suits are randomly organized. So there's just a little poem, which is really cool. So I did like to read through all of the little poem things. Like I wouldn't use this though in practice with it. I don't know, I feel like it would get old, just the poems. Obviously you can use it as cartomancy. Oh, cartomancy, oh, so this is the box, so this, no, it's going to get a bag. Cartomancy has their own meanings. These are the backs. I don't love that they chose like the spider and the moth as the backing. I don't love that, and that they went with like a grey and black. I feel like even like this would have been a nicer back. It's not edged, as you can see. Mine's already bowed a bit just from the walkthrough. It's on almost like a photo paper, so it's very fragile. So I will not be using this in my practice. This is hands down just a collector's item for me. I am obsessed with it. I just really liked the illustration style and the variety of images you get from it. I think it's really beautiful and it's art. So this is like, I'm buying this for the art. So this is the Joker. So yeah, once again, I just don't love that image in particular, but I just think it's like really evocative. I love the different styles. I accidentally picked it up and didn't show you. You could derive your own meaning just from the imagery as well as obviously the cartomancy meanings, which I was trying to like learn, but because I don't want to use this deck, I'm backed off that for now. But I might get into cartomancy in the future in terms of playing cartomancy. I know I was using that. I was like, I'm already into cartomancy, but like playing card divination kind of usage. I love the Queen. But yeah, this was so fun. And like I said, I found a more affordable version on eBay UK. The other eBays like Australia and Amazon and all those places just had really high prices, like in the hundreds, whereas this was around $100. I assume it's real. I don't see why. you know, and like unless someone knows that it's counterfeit, like do let me know if it is. I'm assuming it is real. It was still wrapped, and it looks like all the other versions I've seen of this, but I could be mistaken, you know, like it's my first time purchasing a deck off eBay. I've never done that before, so it's my first time. But that was also thanks to Baby, who said like she found the best price for it on eBay UK, and I probably wouldn't have even looked on eBay UK if it wasn't for Baby. But it's very pretty. And instead of me just printing photos off Pinterest so I could have them, you know, it was all packed in this one little parcel. I'll be interested to see if this illustrator has done any other work. So I'm definitely going to look into him and see if he's done anything else, because I just like, yeah, their art style. I think it's really cool. And I love the color palette. It's definitely more of a dark and moody deck. But that being said, I found like it went with a lot. Like obviously this one's a bit different. You get a few cards which have like more of a pink, playful, childlike color palette. But generally it's like very moody, dark, black, red, gray, blue, you know, yellow, the primary kind of colors that you get on the front of the box are the majority of the cards. But yeah, this went with a ton of other decks. So after I did my walkthrough, I sat down and like looked at it with a lot of other decks I have, and I'm like, this looks great and this looks great. So it went with a lot. This is also one of my favorite images. So I'm going to show my favorite ones now because they're all together. So this was the first picture I found on Pinterest. And I'm like, that is so cool. I just really liked it. And then I saw this one, and then I was just pinning them all. So I was so happy that, you know, Baby actually found the deck. This is also another one of my top favorite ones. But yeah, I'm glad I have it, and I will be keeping it to look at. It's very pretty. And I think that is everything from this month. Like I said previously, I didn't actually buy anything except this. This was the only deck I purchased in January. Everything else I'd previously purchased, you know, last year. And I've still got like 15 decks incoming, because I've just changed like how I buy decks, and like I'm just a bit more, I'm not so trigger happy, you know, I just don't jump on a deck the second I see it and go, oh, that's cool. I am sitting on it, you know, and there's been a few that I've sat on. I'm like, yeah, actually, I don't really feel like I need it, you know. Like I said, that might change in the future if I have more disposable income and I've got more room to store everything. That could change. But at the moment, I'm really happy with my collection. I'm not feeling a very intense desire to accumulate. Like right now, I think we all go in like seasons and ebbs and flows, and I'm a bit more in a quiet season. But yeah, this was the only one that I actually purchased this particular month. Overall, it was pretty good. Like the only ones that I'm a bit uncertain of are the Arcana Vitae, but I probably will keep that just as a collector's item. And the Tantric Dakini, I don't think I will be keeping, but we'll see how that goes. But that was everything for the month of January. Until next time, stay well, Star Child.